Hey Fab Fam, it's Vinny B with Dead on Board Gaming, and I'm just kind of checking in. How's your ProQuest season going? You guys sick of Starvo? You guys think Starvo's okay? You guys think he's overpowered? Does something need done? What do you guys think? Because I've been thinking about it a lot, actually, because I really enjoy the deck. I've heard people say that they're playing the deck but not enjoying it, but I actually think the deck's fun. Um, and I was talking to someone today on Discord that compared it to Tron, and it really clicked that that's a perfect explanation of that deck. You're trying to find three lands to have a powerful game, but you won't. But it doesn't stick around, so you have to do it every turn. Um, but the thing that really got me was Tron is a super powerful deck in Magic, but it is the accepted high roll power level. Um, I feel like this could be it. It's never been a problem. It's annoying. It sucks to get high rolled, but it's never been a problem. Now I know everyone's going to be like, "Well, it's a problem right now." No, it's new. I also feel that throughout the last 3 weeks of playing, everybody seems to have a better grasp and game plan in the matchup. I get that it can high roll, and while it's being overrepresented, that is going to be noticed over and over and over again. But I do think that the deck is fine. I'm stamping it now. Like I really have. I think the deck's gonna be fine. It is fine. I think the biggest problem, and this is a player problem, is that there's not nobody's the brewing's not there. There's people that can do the math better. Um, and it's just like any other TCG, just like Magic. A breakout deck comes and everybody plays it for the next, X amount of time until it starts getting suffocated out, unless it's a problem. I think that's where we're at right now. Now, the other thing I wanted to bring up is a lot of people are saying that the paper, scissors, rocks meta that we kind of have right now between Prism, Viserai, and Starvo isn't great. Well, it's not great. Of course, you want everybody, you want 100 of them. But technically, throughout it, there's also a chain, there's a fourth. I know it's a rune blade, so like it's kind of the same, but they're not the same. They play very different. Same kind of cards, but the play styles are different. Rune Blade's just strong. But a lot of TCGs strive to have three top decks that can prey on each other and switch the meta, and then allow other decks under it to start plotting and planning ways to beat some of the decks, and then you go into the tournament hoping that you're right, that you're playing the popular meta deck that day. And that's kind of the way metas always kind of shape out, except most of the time there's one best deck and everything kind of goes around that. Right now it kind of feels like there's three best decks, which I think, again, contrary to what I've been hearing, I think is good. A lot of TCGs thrive or strive to get to a point where there's three completely viable decks. And again, when you have three completely viable decks, you open up tier B. You know what I mean? If you have like one S tier, two A tiers, you open up tier B. And that will trickle through. Then you add a new set of heroes, and then something's going to rise to the top. It's going to happen. The hope is that it acts like Starvo acts, and it's slowly but surely becoming a more even matchup. Again, I think the biggest problem is the player problem, that every time something breaks out and does good, not the entire community. Don't let me take away from you mains. Don't let me take away from the people that just play their mains no matter what. But in the competitive scene, a lot of people are picking up the winning deck, and the winning deck comes and it's like the new deck. Now in this game, reps matter so much, and it's reps in each matchup, not just reps with your deck. So decks like this will come, everyone will pick it up because it's the new thing, and for a few weeks it's gonna be the strongest thing until people start getting game plans. And again, I feel like that's where we're getting right now, where Starvo's kind of target number one. The other two kind of target each other. And then again, there's a tier B that I think we'll see in the Pro Tour. I think that's when we're going to see it. Like, I think there's going to be some breakout decks, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're older heroes that kind of come through. That's kind of just being close to the heart. There's, there's the people that already have the invites and stuff like that don't need to come and bring their hotness or share it or anything like that. Keep it close to the chest, because again, reps matter so much in this game that if you come up with a deck or strategy and nobody knows about it, you are a favorite. Especially if it's a tested strong going in, not just some random thing. Don't get me wrong. But if you sat and tested it against, say, A, B, and C, you have a strong game plan against all of them, and it's something that nobody's really tested against, the strategy, the play, the cards, I don't know how else to say it, you're kind of a favorite. You have something that they don't have, and it's experience in a matchup with the cards and game plan that you have planned. That's something I love about this. It's like chess. It's so much like chess. I used to say Magic was like Wizards playing chess. Is how it felt, because you set up the board. This is a thought process that I feel is very like chess, where you're, you know what I mean? Because you, like, the arsenal alone is think one turn ahead. You know what I mean? And then from there you kind of go like that. But like the arsenal itself just lends to think another step ahead. I think this game makes you better in other games too. Just like that thing being such a prominent piece of the gameplay is such a cool critical thinking mechanic. I love it. I then draw 4 cards every turn, unlock every puzzle. Again, back to the Tron thing, like I actually love it. Like, and again, maybe he gets swept off into Living Legend land. That could happen, but I don't think much needs done. The only card that probably actually needs looked at is Awaken. My thought is, though, if you take Awaken out, the deck might get stronger. like I get that it's the catch-up mechanic, but when you take away the catch-up mechanic, they have to find other cards. And you've seen it a million times in a bunch of different games. Just sometimes you take away the key piece of a deck, and then they find something else, and it's like, this is how it should have been built the whole time anyways. So, I don't know. I think if it needs looked, I don't think it needs looked at, though. I think it's a strong card. But there's times it's just dead in your hand, and it's just 3 resources. And I think that balancing mechanic of it is pretty good. Again, this game has so much about your game plan in each matchup that it's not just the cards you play. You don't just jam cards. There's how do you play this matchup? You know what I mean? Like, okay, we're playing Aura Prism. You have to keep the board clear and find your spot. You're playing, you know what I mean? You're playing Herald. Now you want to concentrate on making them at least block 1 card, because 3-card hands are way worse than 4-card hands for Prism. Things like that. So again, I opened that whole conversation up to see what you guys think. But again, I thought the Tron thing was very cool and a very good comparison. And again, I feel like Magic has determined that Tron was kind of the top level of annoyance power level, and I can see Starvo just kind of being that. It's like, yeah, you can get high rolled, but like when you get into the games, I think the games are fairly interesting. Now again, it might make some of the heroes bad, and I can understand why people get upset. If it's messing with their mains and stuff like that, I completely understand all that. But there's an ebb and flow to TCGs. If they ever get to the point where every single hero is completely viable and you can show up to any tournament every time, and the meta is just everything's just so good that the meta is just that wide open, it would be a marvel of design. A marvel of design, because there's always going to be a best deck, there's always going to be a supporting cast, and there's always going to be the cast under them The only thing you want to do is make sure that it rotates. That's the biggest thing. If you can always keep the meta rolling in some way or another, you're doing great. And that's how I feel. I want to know how you guys feel. Please let me know. I was going to do another thing about the duel deck or battle deck, or I can't remember what it's called. So I guess real quick, we'll talk about it. I think it's awesome. I don't like that I have to wait till June until there's a product I care about. Unless they print new cards in here or put chase cards in here. But again, I'm not running out to get those for the chase cards. I have my CNCs. So it would be really good to get the new players. And I feel like that's it. Because in that announcement in the magazine, if you guys seen it, I'll try to pull it up. It said we are turning into a player-based game from a collector-based game. So it makes sense to put these out, put a CNC in, and maybe an Enlightened Strike in it, in each of the decks. That gives you a reason to buy it. It gives them a reason to sell more than, X. But it's also very cool because Blitz is designed with a 2 of max. So even giving you 1 is half of your max. So they're actually giving you, for the deck itself, they're giving you a very proportionate amount of power into it. This should bring all the cards down, but it needs done 1,000%. I'd rather it be in a set to open rather than something you can just go buy free-handedly and make these cards worth probably next to nothing. Maybe not. I mean, but if they're that readily available, it's going to very much hurt them. And I don't mind them being $10, $20. You know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily need them to be 100 or want them to be 100. Again, I'm not selling them. I'm not buying them. They're just out there and expensive. But the distribution of Majestics in the first 2 sets were bad, so it needs adjusted. Those cards need to come out, even though I feel like all those cards are slowly but surely like losing favor. So it's kind of cool to watch because as they're losing favor, they're going to come up with a way to print it. So the value's going down anyway, or will be going down anyway. CNC, I mean, I'm not saying they're bad, but like right now in this meta, CNC's not that good of a card, right? If you run into Alexi, it's great. It should be in your 80 somewhere. But I am rambling. And I got off. Oh, no. I'm on right tough. So anyways, back to that. Let me get off that subject. I think it's awesome. I heard, a thought that maybe they'll be talented. It was a positive thought. Shout out to Louis. I like that idea. I don't think it is what it is. I think what happened was they printed these. They were like, go ahead and print more of the heroes. And those were the promos that we got for the Farewell to Wrath, or Wraith, events. And I think they just printed a bunch more. I was like, we're going to make this event, and whatever. Which kind of breaks my heart because, you know what I mean? They let it be like a chase item for, like a month, and now they're just like, we are going to print these to demand. I love that that's where they're reprinting the cold foil promos. I do. I think that's a great place to place those kind of promos and prize promos and stuff like that. Is be like, all right, well, here's an Icelander dual deck with I love that. I don't particularly like the idea that they were prizes a month ago. And unless Louis thought that they'll be talented and different comes up, I kind of hate the timeline of it. But it's all good. It gets new players excited. Don't get me wrong. It'll get new players excited. They get cold foils. They get a cold foil hero, which I think everyone really wants. When you find your main, you really want it in cold foil. And like, you know what I mean? You want your board to look awesome. Like, you can't help it. And, like, rainbow foils look awesome in this game, but cold foils on your board, I don't know. Chef's kiss stuff, man. So anyways, long story short, that's just kind of how I feel. I don't like that the promos are there. That also means that we should be getting a Katsu and a, who is the fourth? Oh, and Bravo. I'm guessing we're going to get a Katsu Bravo one, either at the same time or down the road a little bit. They might stretch it out, but I feel like they're going to come out at the same time. Especially since, again, they printed these promos. I think these promos are the cold foils in these decks. And if you're going to come out with a starter deck, don't force them into two decks. Let them choose between the two. I think it's a home run for what they're looking to do. Again, the only thing that really kind of irked me a little bit is that these promos that were a bit sought after and everything got printed a month later, and they're coming out in a month. So anyways, what do you guys think? This ran a little longer than I wanted to, but I kind of got going. I appreciate you guys listening. I always appreciate you guys, and as always, thank you for being the best community in gaming. I'm Vinny B. This is Dead on Board Gaming, and I will see you guys next time.